Hey guys and girls, welcome to your first lesson in our new unit, which is on 2D geometry. The first lesson is comparing positions on a grid. What you see here is something called a Cartesian coordinate system or a Cartesian grid. And there's just some things that I want to point out to you or to remind you of this here. So the Cartesian grid basically has two axes. So you'll notice that the one that runs horizontally across here is the x-axis, and the one that runs vertically or up and down is the y-axis. So it's basically like two axes that are crossing, and it's made up of a series of number lines. So if you'll notice here, this number line is all positive numbers, and this is why it's a good thing that we just finished doing integers, because we kind of understand the positives and negatives a little bit more. So just to make note, the positive numbers are here. The other set of positive numbers are on the y-axis running vertically. And then if you'll notice, the negative numbers are on the y-axis vertically, down below, and here on the x-axis. So that's really, really important in terms of plotting coordinates. So a coordinate is something that, so just to remind you, would be something that looks like this, made up of two integers. So if we wanted to plot the point 2, 2, positive 2, positive 2, we always go along the x-axis first, and then we go up the y. So I would go along on the x-axis on my number line to the 2, because that's my first coordinate. And then I would go up to my second coordinate up on the y-axis here. And that's where my point would be. And then I would also plot it, which means I put the number there. So again, you go over on the x-axis to where the first number is, and then you go up the y-axis to the second number. Okay, I'm going to plot another one. Let's do -5 and +4. So again, you're going to get a series of positive and negative numbers here, and they're going to be positioned in different parts of the grid. So again, now I'm going over on my first number line on the x-axis to -5. So I go over to the -5, which is right here, and then my next coordinate is +4. So then I go up onto the y-axis up to +4, and I plot my point there, and then I would write down the coordinate, -5 and +4. Now, you don't want to draw these lines like I did. I just did that to show you how to plot points. You would literally just put the dot and then just put the point there. We'll do one more. Let's do it in purple. Let's do +6 and -2. So again, +6 is the x-axis. I'll put a little x here, and this is y. So I go over to the x-axis, +6. It's right there. And then my next coordinate is -2, so I go down the y-axis to where the negatives are. And if you see, it kind of lines up with it, lines up with the 2 right there. And that's my point right here. So then I would go 6 and -2. All right, so I've now plotted a point on the Cartesian grid, and I want you to think for a second and tell me what the point is. So again, you go over to the x, along the x-axis, and then down the y-axis to figure out what point this is. So I always start at 0, go over towards where the point is lined up with. It's -6 on the x-axis. And then I go down to where it's lined up on the y-axis, and it's lined up with -3. So this particular yellow point, and we'll just call that A, is -6 and -3. Okay, so that's pretty much the lesson for today. It was nice and simple, and we'll just expand on this in the days to come. So your question tonight would be, name the coordinates of each point on the grid. So we have A, B, C, and D. I want you to list the coordinates. So in your answer, you would just put the answers in brackets. Oops, where are we here? Like that, and you would put the points inside, make sure that you identify it as either a positive or negative integer. So name the coordinates on each point of the grid. Please do it on Google Classroom. I would prefer that as opposed to getting papers. So please just complete it on Google Classroom, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.